8 months ago when I relocated to the Fort Myers, Sarasota, Florida area. I had been spending a lot of time going to lots of furniture stores looking for the perfect kitchen table, and I ended up getting one that's solid stone because the wood scratches. This solid stone doesn't, and the wood stains, the wood dents. This doesn't. This is solid stone. I think this may be synthetic man-made, such as quartz counters are synthetic and man-made, but this is not as good of quality as quartz, but it is beautiful. I think these swirls are artificially designed somehow, but I'm not sure. The reason I say I think it's artificial because underneath it looks synthetic, like poured into a cast. See that? So if you know, please leave in the comments. You see the little bubbles and things, kind of some signs that it could be man-made. But from what I understand about quartz countertops, those are all man-made and they're very high quality. But after looking for months in the furniture stores in Southwest Florida, I was disappointed in what they had in stock and how high the prices were for anything that looked like I wanted. We're talking about upwards of $5,000 to $50,000 for a table that I liked in the furniture stores. There was nothing I liked that was under 5,000. So I was tempted to do it, but I refused to. So I got this on Craigslist for $100, but I had to have somebody help me lift it into the van because it is extremely heavy. It's impossible for one human to carry this. Maybe not so much because of the weight, because of the size. I imagine there are some bodybuilders who could lift that much weight if it were in the form of um, a weight, a standard weight with handles on it, but this, no. So even with two people, it was an extremely bizarre and scary situation to get this in the house. Well, actually loaded in the van, then driving it here, worrying about it breaking, and then unloading it and setting it up. So I don't really recommend this kind of table in that regard if you think you're ever going to have to relocate it. But if you think it's going to be in a permanent location, now this one has a pedestal in the center, so if somebody sits on one end, the other end will lift up unless it is secured to the pedestal, which about the only way you can do that is going to be, well, I mean, you could go as far as using these. You could use a mortar drill, a hammer drill, and hammer and some concrete bits and drill in, set some brackets, and I might actually do that later on, but the more practical way probably was just some sealant. Or actually the more practical way is simply don't sit on one end of the table. But I like it because it's solid. It's not going anywhere unless somebody sits on an end of the table, or if you bump into it really hard, it'll move and you can just move it right back. And that might be a good thing that it moves, because if it doesn't move and you accidentally hit the corner or something, that could be really painful if it doesn't give a little bit. But I think I got it so cheap on Craigslist, and I saw another one just like it also for about $100, is because people don't, people are too lazy. They don't want to go through all the work to take it home. And plus, I noticed furniture in this area sells super cheap on Craigslist. People don't want used furniture. We have a lot of rich people moving here from the Atlantic coast, the northeast Atlantic coast area, New York, New Jersey, and California. A lot of rich retired people, especially, or even people who used to have work and now they're They don't need to be in a big city like Los Angeles, and they're looking for somewhere more peaceful like Venice, Florida, where this is nearby. And so they're coming here with gobs of money. They're spoiled younger people often who just don't want to. They think newer is better. They think new is better, and they're scared of used because it might have germs on it, COVID or virus or whatever. But all you gotta do is wipe it down with sanitary wipes. Jeez. But by far, most new kitchen tables are extremely inferior to this. They're made out of that glued together wood crap stuff that's just going to fall apart. But there are a lot of solid wood ones if you're willing to pay many hundreds more for those, or in many cases, thousands more. And a lot of people like new because it includes free delivery often. And so that's very attractive. And I understand that. That's actually a really big thing. But for something you're going to try to cherish for decades, just get something better than what the store has if you can find it on Craigslist. This is kind of one of my most weird videos. Kitchen table talk. I never thought I would make that kind of video, but I thought it was interesting to share how difficult it was for me to find furniture in Florida. Let me move on over to some other furniture. So this one here I got at Big Lots because I thought it matches. The chairs I got from somebody on Craigslist, and you know, it was advertised as something like new or whatever, and I called them and asked them if they're really clean. They said, oh yeah, they've been hardly used. I noticed women, middle-aged, older women on Craigslist are con artists, liars, big time. You can't believe anything those, and it's not a sexist statement, it's my experience. I haven't had a guy bullshit me, but those women, they will lie to get rid of their furniture. They are terrible about it here, at least. And so she said, oh, they're like new, they've hardly been used. It took me hours to recondition these. These were heavily used. There was goop in between the cracks and everything. And I decided to get them anyway, even though I didn't complain because they were cheap. I think they were something like $50 for the set of 4, or $10 each or something like that. So you can't even, in the furniture stores, don't even sell those anymore. The ones with the rollers, because they're a lot more expensive to make. And it is solid wood. This is all solid wood here. And so I thought, all right, I'll just clean them up. I used a lot of sanitary wipes to scrub and clean them really good. So they're probably cleaner than new. And sometimes new is not better because of the toxic fumes and chemicals that come from the material. And I had to go underneath and tighten some of the hex screws. Not a big deal because some of them were lopsided. Oh, and another thing about Craigslist, prices are negotiable. Don't forget that. And if it doesn't meet what you need, just say no thank you and walk away. You don't have to buy something just because somebody went through the trouble to show it to you. I was kind of guilty with that regarding the chairs. I felt like I had to buy them because I made an appointment to see them. I'm glad I bought them, but barely. There was a lot of work cleaning those up. They were really dirty. In the lanai also, this was expensive. This is a handmade art piece, glass with some kind of polyurethane coating on top. Another woman sold it to me, and she was BSing me about it too a little bit, because she said it was in perfect condition, but it isn't. It obviously has a big scratch going across there that significantly reduces the value. But because this is so hard to find and so unique and so rare and is an actual masterpiece work of art, I went ahead and paid her the full price for it, because I tried to come down on it because of the scratch, and she said, oh, there's somebody else who wants to buy it for that price or whatever. And I was like, well, I can afford it. I'll just go ahead and get it. It was, I paid something like, I forgot, nearly 300 for this, just for the tabletop, not including this base that I had to buy separately, which they lied. Another woman lied about it. See all this? They didn't disclose in the ad all this coming, but it is aluminum. And so just like the wooden chairs, I went ahead and got it because of the high quality material. Aluminum isn't going to rust, so I can paint over that. You see the cushions are faded and all that, but the color matches. The front color is in good condition and it matches here. So being outside in the lanai, I'm not going to stress over the condition, age, as long as the framework is solid and aluminum. And I got this cheap too. I think it was $75 for the whole set on Craigslist. And it's because the demand for used furniture is extremely low, but the demand for new furniture in the new furniture stores is extremely high, and the wait list is often about a half a year out to get furniture from new furniture stores in Southwest Florida due to the high influx of people moving in and needing furniture. So what do you think about this artwork here? This was all hand inlaid. Pretty cool, I think. And it is very heavy. I also had to have somebody help me because that's very thick artwork. The original glass that was put on, one person can handle, but after they put all these, they inlaid all these stones by hand and did all this, all that ended up being pretty heavy. The person who bought this bought it around Jacksonville, Florida, and she said she paid $750 for this, excluding any base, just for the art piece. And it is hand signed right here. And all my other tables are definitely not remarkable compared. Oh, I almost forgot this one. This one I got at a garage sale. I think I paid $75 for it. It's hand painted. It's sparkly. And that was unique. So it's a repurposed table. It used to be an ugly wood table that was just plain brown. And somebody hand painted all this on here. And so I created a ocean beach scenery there out of it. You can see underneath that it is repurposed an old table. See that? Oh, and I forgot about this. So when I bought the house, they used to have a butcher block there, a small one, about only 25% size of this table sitting there in the middle, and I thought that was really odd. And the realtor said, "Oh, but that doesn't stay." And I was thinking, good. It's too weird. And it took me me and a friend hours and hours studying this kitchen, trying to figure out what can fit in here to create a bar, since it's a closed kitchen and doesn't directly go to the living room except on the ends. And so because the modern style homes have bars usually built in, and so this one I picked up at a kind of it was a furniture consignment store in Sarasota. And I think I paid around $200 for this, but it's a extremely thick, solid a solid wood top. And I filled in some holes it had. It had a couple natural wood defects, and I think I'm still gonna have to work on that because the color doesn't quite match. I don't know. I used some kind of brown that matches here, but a little bit, but it doesn't. I think it needs to match that black, so I need to make it black maybe. And a couple other tiny holes it had. It's just the way some wood is. So this is like a giant butcher block, but and then this thing I got at a garage sale where you put fruit on there. And these I got on Amazon. They're actually not very comfortable, so I try to get extra padding on there, which doesn't match exactly, I'll improve it later on in the future. I don't really sit there anyway. It's just a place to put stuff once in a while. Actually, I don't really use it hardly at all. Sometimes I put fruit in the middle. I don't use it as much as I thought. I thought when I came in with groceries, I'd be setting the bags right here and all this, and I really don't. I just set them over there on that counter. So this is just kind of like for looks, just to make it look like a more modern home. Because without that, there's no bar at all in the house, and I thought that would be kind of weird these days. Surprisingly, I didn't know until I bought it. When I was loading it up, I noticed underneath there's a sticker that says "Made in China," and I thought that's odd. The Chinese usually don't make something this big and solid wood like that, and in a metal table. This is all steel here, or aluminum. I'm not sure which. I think it's steel, but see how it matches the bar stools really well. And then this thing I got on from Sam's Club. It's bamboo, I think, and folds up, just some kind of utility tray, which I like to put on this table if I'm eating cereal, for example. So it makes me look weird when I'm eating, but it's at my mouth height because I sit up so high. So actually, this table I may increase in height in the future and get rid of these chairs and get taller chairs and just get everything up higher, because it's okay. I mean, as far as like bar height, kitchen table versus this, they all have their pros, and each way has its pros and cons. Bar height is a little bit more difficult for children or small people, and this one here is a little bit more difficult for tall people like me, but it's fine. When I'm sitting there, I don't really pay attention to it, so it's not bothering me. I may just leave it. Oh, these tables here, these slate top tables, got at a garage sale also. Or not a garage sale, but a Craigslist ad. And I was surprised after I bought those. Those are also made in China. This table came with the house. The former owners left it, and they had those two chairs with it. And I was gonna put it on Craigslist for free, and I decided to keep it. This one's by the front door, a utility table. That's what I'm using it for now, but it's pretty decorative. Got that one at Ollie's discount store. Something like $100 or something like that. I thought it was pretty neat. It's also solid wood, except it has these fillers in it. For the 82-inch living room TV, I don't need a table for it. The table is just supporting the speaker, because on the back it's wall mounted, so there's no table for the TV. This desk I got at the Furniture Warehouse in Sarasota. It was pricey, somewhere around $500 for this desk, but it's solid wood. It's made in India, which is pretty common now. And the mirror I got at the same store for $20. It was just clearance because somebody didn't want it when they bought a dresser. It doesn't, the drawer is not solid wood on the bottom. I was surprised to see that. It opens and closes just okay. It's not really great, but I like the looks of this. It's unique, curvy. That's why I got it, because of the very uniqueness. And I'm using these Sam's Club and Costco type tables all in the garage and by the bed for now, until I get better furniture, preferably with soft closing drawers. In the office, I have a sit-stand desk from Office Depot, I believe. It was pricey, around $500, and it electronically goes up and down. For security, I don't want to get too close to it with public video. So here it is from back here. see in the garage, the utility table's in the middle since my vehicle's too big to park inside the garage. The former owners left this crappy looking desk, but I was going to get rid of it because it's so ugly, but it's really solid and they have this built-in vise that's working pretty good. So I'm going to keep it for now. Two couples owned this home before I did. I don't know which one was responsible for the cinder blocks. I think the first couple from Hawaii are the ones who left all these cinder blocks. So there were cinder blocks lined up all along this pergola, just sitting on the ground, and my insurance company wrote me and said that's a trip hazard. I have to move them somewhere else. Oops, I accidentally left the expensive vacuum cleaner just sitting there outside. So what I did is I created these pedestals with them to make outdoor tables that are solid and hurricane proof. There's no hurricane going to blow these away, except, you know, Cat 5 will probably tear off this top and make it land on the ground, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, so there were so many cinder blocks. I have one there, down there, but I think I'm going to take some down. And you see over here there's some excess cinder blocks, and over here on the side of the house where I want to park my motorhome, where the flag is the property line, and this lot next to me is for sale. They were asking $30,000 for it. It's 1/4 acre, and I was going to offer them a little less for it, and they got mad at me because I told them why they should come down, what the negative aspects of it are, and out of spite they raised it up to $50,000, and so I'm not going to buy it. And so what I'm going to do is, since I mean, normally somebody would put a shop there, I don't like doing that. I don't want to be walking all the way across there back and forth when I'm working on my vehicle or whatever. So I found out that I'm allowed to have paver stone or gravel go all the way to the edge of the property, and so I'm going to put those cinder blocks all along the edge there that will act as a wall to hold the gravel. I'm going to put gravel first and see how it works before I put down paver stones with landscaping material underneath the paver stones. If I do that, probably landscaping material underneath the gravel too, to help prevent grass and weeds from growing up in there. So it's kind of strange how I'm going to be repurposing the cinder blocks that were already repurposed for a table, and then I have extra ones here that are shrouding the well pump right there. I can grab a couple of those. They don't have to be there. I come from a family that had really bad kitchen tables that were wobbly, and my father was a little heavy dude with a massive beer belly. He had this, gosh, I don't know what you would call it, like a tic, where when he sits at the kitchen table, what he does is he would always put his arm on there and push really hard where the whole kitchen table would wobble. And so when we're all sitting at the table, for some reason I'm the only one who noticed it and complained about it. And I noticed I had a buddy who did the same thing when I went out to eat with him. And so like those two guys, when they sit at the table, they go like that, and it moves the whole table, and they go like that. So that was one of the major things I was looking for when shopping for a table. If somebody puts their arm on the table and pushes hard, what's going to happen? There's not a dang thing happening with this table. So if I'm sitting anywhere over there and somebody tries to pull that crap, it's not going to bother me because this table isn't moving at all. So I don't know if that's a personal PTSD thing for me to be bothered by that. Would that bother you if you're sitting at the table and somebody just keeps on constantly putting their arm on the table, and the whole table actually wobbles every time they do that, like that? In your food, you can actually see your silverware tremble and stuff. This is so bizarre. How could they not be conscious of that? How inconsiderate. I don't understand. But Yep. Especially after you tell them what they're doing and they still keep on doing it over and over and over. Yeah, when I was sitting with my buddy at a casino in Western San Diego, we were at a casino buffet, and he kept on doing the same thing, put his arm on the table, and the whole table kept on wobbling, and he just kept on uh, almost obnoxiously, just like that, over and over and over. And I kept on telling him, "Will you stop that? It's really bothering me." And he just kept on doing it. People, I don't know what the hell's the matter with some people like that. It's so weird. I think it may be like they're suffering some kind of attention deficit where they're, or I mean, in the sense that they have a deficit of attention from others, and so it's their way to kind of like remind you that they're there. They have to let you know that they're there. I think it's psychologically subconscious action, and it's just their neurons are just programmed for that somehow, where over the years they just ingrained it in their, it's just permanently etched in their neural pathways somehow, where that's what they do, and you tell them not to do it and they don't know what you're talking about. Oh, what's cool about some of these tables from Costco, Sam's Club, some of them are adjustable height right there, really easy. All right, so that concludes table and kitchen table especially talk. Appreciate you listening to this, and especially I'm going to be intrigued to read some comments.